Let's bring up our maps in Colorado. We're talking about what happened at an outdoor shopping mall in the community of Boulder. We've got some breaking news on new charges for the alleged attacker. So here's what we know. 45-year-old Mohamed Sabry Soliman is now charged with a federal hate crime in that attack. He told police he had been planning that attack for a year. The FBI says he shouted "Free Palestine" as he threw incendiary devices and used a flame-throwing device at a group walking to remember Israeli hostages who are still held hostage in Gaza. That group that was out there called Run for Their Lives. They say they saw 4 women and 4 men burned. Among the injured, someone who survived the Holocaust, an 88-year-old person who had already seen so much violence in our world, only to see it once again in a park in Colorado. Now, this incident investigated by the feds as an act of terror. The suspect is an Egyptian national. Soliman is expected in court today to face a judge. 3:30 p.m. Eastern time is when that will happen. But let's speak about what happened in that park. Here's what somebody saw.
There is a male with a blowtorch setting people on fire.
It was a Molotov cocktail equivalent, a gas bomb in a glass jar, thrown. I saw it, a big flame as high as a tree, and all I saw was someone on fire.
It was chaos. People were writhing on the ground. It was traumatic to watch, to be honest with you.
People can have feelings, but they're not supposed to be throwing bombs at other people.
So as you can imagine, the attack has left Boulder's Jewish community reeling. A joint statement released by 5 local Jewish organizations said they are saddened and heartbroken, and they wish those injured a speedy recovery. So let's turn now to Tim Gallagher, a former FBI agent, now chief security officer at Nardello & Company, which is a global security firm. Tim, thank you for joining us. So much to talk about here. The suspect's now charged with a hate crime. Take us through what is likely happening with the FBI probe.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me today. What is the FBI doing right now? Obviously, they are on the ground in the immediate aftermath, working with their colleagues, state and local law enforcement, JTTF, Joint Terrorism Task Force resources, looking to collect evidence at the scene, working to provide services for the victim, but more importantly, drawing the circle around this subject. Who has he talked to? What has he posted? What's resident on his devices? What has he purchased? These are all things that the FBI is drilling down on as we speak.
So we just reported he had admitted to planning this for more than a year. In a situation like that, how can a person make a plan like this, gather incendiary devices, a blowtorch to light people on fire, and go undetected for a year?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's something the FBI is going to drill down on. Like, who did he speak to during that 1-year period? What did he say to them? And what alarm bells may have been set off. But looking to see, are there any co-conspirators out there? Right now they're saying he acted alone, but that's not something the FBI is going to take on face value. They're going to drill down and see who knew what and when, and what they did with that information.
Terrorism is the word being used right now, but when you use a word like that, you have to follow a chain that really proves it. What is that chain? How will they work to track that down and really be able to use the word terrorism and a terror attack inside a courtroom?
Sure. Right now he's charged with a hate crime, which is a violent act designed targeted at someone's race, religion. That's what they've charged right now. As far as terrorism, that they could prove that as well if they get the motivations behind that. To show that it was designed to coerce the civilian population to a certain viewpoint, right? And that is something the FBI is gathering information on. That's a charging decision, made by the DOJ, but the FBI is going to get them all the information they need to go down either path or both at the same time with a hate crime and or a terrorism charge.
Wasn't many days ago the Jewish community felt rocked by the gunning down of 2 young staffers there at the Jewish embassy in Washington, D.C. In that case, police reported that the alleged attacker yelled "Free Palestine," and then in this case in Colorado, same words reportedly used. What is the difference between a copycat crime and a coordinated crime, and will that be something the FBI will be looking into?
Sure, absolutely. The FBI is going to be looking at, was there any connection between this individual and the individual who committed the homicide behind the FBI's Washington field office? They're looking to see is any connection at all. If not, that could be coordinated, or they could be inspired by the same writings. What sites were they on that were in common? That's definitely something the FBI is looking at. Or is it just somebody saw something, they had been planning it for a year, and then seeing this happen, that was a triggering event for something they had been planning to do anyway.
What about the types of weapons used? It's reported flame-throwing device of some sort, Molotov cocktails or other incendiary devices. That connotes a very cruel method of making a statement, to burn people while they are alive.
Yeah, totally horrific in the manner of which that this was carried out. Obviously, every hate crime is a crime against society, is a crime against humanity. But this is particularly depraved, and it's something that would come in at sentencing.
Tim Gallagher, former FBI agent, thank you for joining us on CBS News 24/7. We hope to have many conversations with you in the days and weeks ahead. We appreciate you.
Thank you.